We're here with another sode. It is our very first of our special sodes this week. So it's not a health thing, but it's a be the change thing.
So be the change. And if you don't want to be the change, you're not ready to be the change, then stop complaining.
Hello, hi. It is Allie. Guys, last time I just recorded this, I got to the very end, and then my camera died. So, we're going again. As if I wanted to talk about this twice. Really? Okay. Well, so hi. So we're here with another sode. It is our very first of our special sodes this week. So it's not a health thing, but it's a be the change thing. Someone who became their change, their story. So, very exciting, very awesome. That is what we're doing today. Today's guest is not a guest. It is me. It is my story. It is Allie Banks. Hi. Sorry to disappoint, but I haven't quite figured out the whole calling in guests thing, and I also don't exactly have a framework for how I want these interviews to look, so I'm testing it on myself, which I figured out in the first take, but here we are. Anyway, so I'm going to keep it pretty simple. Our story begins in 2016, my senior year of high school. I was a cheerleader. Ooh, we don't talk about it. But I got this scholarship through the Marine Corps. So the whole thing was I joined the military, I do 4 years in the Marine Corps and they pay for 4 years of college. That was kind of the deal, right? So in order to get the scholarship, I had to pass like a series of physical fitness tests and like an academic test, and I had to turn in the scholarship like essays, a regular scholarship, right? But I was not in military shape, so I was training at the recruiting station nearby my house, and I never had any interest in joining the military ever. But I started training at this recruiting station, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. I fell in love with the whole culture. I met so many awesome people at that recruiting station, several of which I still talk to, which is great, like lifelong friends. I know one of them specifically listens to this podcast. You know who you are. But so I trained at the recruiting station my senior year of high school, got the scholarship, super stoked, went to college. I was in ROTC in college. I went to Tulane, you know that, and met a lot more awesome people. My best friends to this day were in ROTC with me. And it was incredible. It felt like the beginning of my life. It felt like this was what I was meant to do, and I was good at it, and I loved it. I was going to do 20, I was like that asshole. I was going to do 20 years in the Marine Corps. I quit that shit probably by my sophomore year because it, the angsty teen got to me, and I was like, I hate this stuff. But I never hated it. I never fucking hated it. I loved it. I loved the structure and the culture and the people, and I was going to be a helicopter pilot upon graduation from college. So my life was set, and I was majoring in something that I did not give a shit about because the degree was a means to an end. If I had a college degree, I could join the Marine Corps as an officer. That was the only reason I was going to college. So I didn't care about my major at all. I got good grades and all that. I did really well in academics and all, but I didn't fucking... The major was... I wasn't going to do anything with my major. That was the point, okay? Anyway, so my junior year of college, I was in charge of the drill team for ROTC, so I was basically in charge of just yelling at freshmen and making them feel like pieces of shit for not being able to march in step. That was my job. And I was yelling at the kids one morning, and I was being a total bitch. I remember because it was so embarrassing because I was being a total bitch. But I was in the middle of talking, saying something shitty, and my speech just stopped working. Like the muscles in my mouth or something stopped working. And I knew what I was trying to say, but when I would say it, it would blah, blah, blah. It would just fall out of my face. It was very, very bizarre. So I was very embarrassed. But that happened once, and then it happened a few more times that day, and then it happened for a few more weeks, and it was just strange. So I went to the doctor, and long story short, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis a couple weeks before my 20th birthday, actually. And At the same time, my boyfriend was going to Ranger School. So he was MIA. It's like you can't talk to people while they're at Ranger School. It's handwritten letters from the Dark Ages, you know. So he wasn't really available to be there with me while I was going through this. And oh man, I was fucked up. I found out that MS is an automatic medical discharge from the military. My scholarship got revoked because I wasn't joining the military. My flight contract got revoked because I wasn't joining the military. I had no plans for the future. And I was kind of just... my life was over, dude. I was fucked up. I was so fucked up. I got really unhealthy. I was drinking a lot. I was falling... I felt like I was falling for a very long time. Everything kind of just started slipping. I had really good grades, and then I was failing my classes. I was partying a lot. I didn't really care about anything. I wasn't going to the gym. I lost like 12 pounds my junior year because I wasn't really eating. It just wasn't healthy. It wasn't a good time. It was very dark times. And like I said, the degree was a means to an end. So, you know, if I have this bullshit degree in something that I don't care about, and suddenly I'm not joining the Marine Corps, and yeah, in my mind, my life was over. I made a lot of mistakes my junior year and my senior year. A lot of mistakes. And I wasn't okay. And I switched my major to health and wellness because I was like, okay, well, I work out a lot. I like working out. I used to help the other kids in ROTC who weren't really in good shape get in shape. So I figured, like, okay, I'll just do that. I'll be a personal trainer. That sounds good. You know, it's helping people, whatever. So I got my personal trainer certification while I was still in college. But again, I was still just super fucked up. You know, I wanted to be a fucking helicopter pilot. That was the goal. That was the narrow-minded kind of like center of my attention. The last, 3 years prior to this diagnosis was Marine Corps helicopter pilot, Marine Corps helicopter pilot. I was going to fly helicopters. I was going to, Marines that were in dangerous situations, I was going to fly over, I was going to pick them up, and I was going to save them. That was what I was going to do with my life. That was how I was going to make a difference in the world. That was how I was going to help people. And I just couldn't shake it, even though like, okay, yeah, I got a certification. I was so proud of myself for getting that certification to be a personal trainer. But it didn't matter what good stuff that I did following this diagnosis and this medical discharge. It didn't fucking matter because I wasn't in the Marine Corps and I wasn't going to be a helicopter pilot. I was never going to be in the Marine Corps and I was never going to be a helicopter pilot. And I just could not shake that. I couldn't do it. And so whatever. So I'm feeling sorry for myself constantly. I would tell anyone who would listen my fucking sob story. I mean, like, that was me. That was me. Hi, my name's Ali. I have MS. My life sucks. I was that. And anyway, so I went to this party one time with my friend, and she introduced me to this guy. And so I'm talking to him, and I'm like, hi, my name's Ali. I have MS, and my life sucks. And he was like, oh my God, like when did this happen to you? This is like the beginning of my senior year. My senior year. Like, I have no talk mouth again. It's coming back. Beginning of my senior year. So it's been like a year at this point. And so I'm like, oh, beginning of junior year. And he's like, oh, so like a year ago? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, well, no offense, but like if that happened a year ago, shouldn't you like have figured out a new plan by now or what? And for whatever reason, that stuck. I was like, fuck, you're right. I am only ever making excuses. I'm in love with my tragedy. I'm a broken record. And I was mean, and I was jealous of my friends who were still in ROTC getting to do what I wanted to do. And I was miserable, and I was making other people miserable. And the only person that was making me miserable was me. I was making me miserable. And then I saw the Netflix documentary about Stephen Hawking, The Theory of Everything. It's an excellent movie. If you haven't seen it already, I strongly recommend that you do. And I was like watching this movie and I'm like, oh, I could totally relate to this. This is almost exactly the same thing as what I have. They're not, by the way. ALS and MS are not the same thing. They're both autoimmune diseases, but they are far from the same thing. They're related, but they're like third cousins twice removed, okay, to put it plainly. But whatever. So I'm watching this movie, and there's this one scene in the movie where Mr. Hawking is giving a lecture, and the girl in the front row like drops her pen on the floor. And Stephen has this vision of standing up out of his wheelchair and walking over, bending down, picking up the pen and handing it to this girl. And then it flashes back to reality, and he's still stuck in his chair. And I saw that scene, and like up until this point, I'm just like, you know, I'm loving this movie. It's co-signing all of my bullshit. You know, it's letting me sit in my tragedy and cry about it and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Ugh. It's so annoying just even talking about it. And then this scene comes on, and I felt like such an asshole. I felt like such an ungrateful little shithead. Because, like, I'm still here. You know, like, all I could think about was this guy, he can't walk. He can't talk. He can't talk. Dude, I love talking. This guy can't talk. He can't ride a bike. He can't go to the gym. He can't play with his kids. Like, all of these little things that I was totally taking for granted. That hit me so hard. And it definitely gave me a new perspective. Because, like, look. My whole life, I had been, like, I mean, I didn't work out my whole life at all, but, like, I was always a really active kid. And even after I got MS, like, I almost wasn't going to tell my command that I found out that I had MS, because my fucking rationale was, I can still throw on a 50-pound ruck and hike for, you know, X amount of miles. I can still do pull-ups. I can still run. Like, I can do all of the shit that I had done before some fucking doctor put it on a piece of paper that I had MS. Why would I tell you? Why would I tell you and let you kick me out of the Marine Corps? And I ended up obviously telling them because integrity and all that bullshit. But, I mean, I just felt really ungrateful because there's people out there that have it way fucking worse than I do. And yeah, it was like the universe was kind of just like trying so hard to show me, like, this is not the end of the fucking world. So I got back up, and, you know, it's still touch and go. I won't lie. Like, even though it was 2 years ago, maybe even more at this point, it's still touch and go. I get stuck in my stories sometimes, especially when I go in for my treatments, because it's almost like, hey, Allie, remember that you have this disease for the rest of your life? Hey, Allie, remember that you got kicked out of the Marine Corps and you'll never get to fly helicopters? So, yeah, sometimes it's like that. But I refuse to just let that be my story. So, you know, so I was doing the personal trainer thing, graduated college with a, you know, bachelor's in health, wellness, and fitness, moved up to Washington with my boyfriend. I was working at LA Fitness, and then COVID happened, and I was like, well, maybe I could just do this online or something, try to help some people. And that blew up, and now I own a fucking business. Like, that's fucking awesome. That's totally great. This is like the coolest ending to that story ever. I'm so happy the way that this ended up. You know, getting kicked out of the military was, in a way, one of the best things that's ever happened to me. Because, you know, it led me to what turns out to be what I actually wanted to do. I'm helping people. So here is the thing that I hope that my story can help you see or do for your life. You always have a choice. Are you really going to sit there and dwell on something terrible that happened to you and just decide that, like, that's it, that's your life now? Or are you going to do something different? If you're not happy with your life, if you want to see something change, you know, if something bad has happened to you and you're down in the dumps and you're feeling sorry for yourself, you can feel sorry for yourself for a while. I know I did. God, I know I did. I still do sometimes. I just said that. But at a certain point, and maybe this is the universe giving you, you know, the sign, you watching listening to this podcast right now, it's time to get up. It's time to get up and be the change that you want to see in your life. If you don't like something, do something about it. Stop making excuses. And I know it sounds harsh, but the intention behind it is that your excuses are only hurting you. You have all the power in the world to change your life and make it what you want it to be. So that's my story. Kind of small version of it. Thank you for listening to me talk about myself. I sincerely appreciate it. But now I know how these interviews are going to look, so I guess we'll have other people come on and tell us their sob story and then tell us how they chose to be the change they wanted to see in their lives and how they ended up after the so-called tragedy. I think that'll be really cool. If you want to hop on the podcast, you want to be someone to share your story, I would love that. Again, I think I gave you my information last episode, something like that. The Linktree link, link, LIN like Nancy, K, tr.ee/BTC fit. Get in contact with me on any one of those platforms and let me know what your little story is. And I would love to interview you for this podcast so that you can maybe change some lives as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe. I think that's what you do on YouTube. And yeah. Okay. That's what I got today. Hopefully my camera didn't die this time. I love you. Goodbye.